What's up, everyone? I'm James.
And I'm Jeremy.
And we're the Bear Rugs. Coming at you live in at least 720p.
Not really sure, to be honest.
So grab yourself a spicy soda and greasy snack.
Then apologize to your cardiovascular system.
And let the sweet baritone ravings of the Bear Rugs fill your head.
We really appreciate you guys tuning in. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. It is Friday movie review. What movie are we reviewing today, dude?
We are against our better judgment, or maybe because of our good judgment, reviewing The Sound of Freedom.
The Sound of Freedom.
And I've found from just asking friends and acquaintances, hey, have you guys heard of Sound of Freedom? I'm like, oh, and 10. Like, what are you talking about, Sound of Freedom? There's a movie out right now called The Sound of Freedom. And there is.
Yeah.
A little bit of a backstory about it. It was mainly created by Jim Caviezel, a.k.a. Jesus.
From The Passion of the Christ. Not actually, he's not actually Jesus.
Some people might have needed that clarified. Didn't occur to me.
Throw it out there.
But yeah, for sure. He's been trying to get it made for quite a while.
5 years?
Well, he made it. He didn't try to get it made. He made it,
okay.
And it was on the shelf for 5 years. So 20th Century Fox owned it.
Okay.
Finance, whatever. And 5 years ago, Disney bought 20th Century Fox, as we all know. And a lot of movies I was really looking forward to got shelved because of that.
Really?
Yeah, including I can't remember it even off the top of my head. But they've
Disney was just like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, well, some of them were made, and they're just like, put it on the shelf, we're not releasing it. And you're like, why would you do that? But that's what they did with this movie. And when Jim Caviezel's like, well, I still want people to get this message, and make no mistake, The Sound of Freedom shows something that people need to be aware of. It's got a good message.
I think we're okay to talk about the message before spoilers.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. But go ahead.
But anyway, Disney would not give him his rights back, and they also wouldn't release it, which I think is
that's kind of scummy.
Odd.
That's kind of scummy, man.
Yeah. Worth looking into, digging into. But Jim Caviezel, what's kind of surrounded this movie with a little bit of controversy and made some people not really keen to go watch it, is Jim Caviezel has become like kind of a far-right proponent.
Mega QAnoner.
Yeah, so in a recent kind of like rally, like Republicans for whatever rally or something, he brought up the adrenochrome. He brought up the adrenochrome thing, which, if you're not aware, adrenochrome is an alleged drug derived from the adrenal glands of tortured children. And it's mainly like a QAnon sort of conspiracy,
that all the
a cabal of rich people, of rich people. So like Jeffrey Epstein, but like
Hillary Clinton,
Hillary Clinton, George Clooney, like people like that.
Why did George Clooney get wrapped in it?
I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there because it's outlandish.
His good looks.
Yeah, but I mean, celebrities and politicians, that they are in these secret clubs torturing children
and drinking their
adrenal fluids to get high. Couple issues with this.
Okay.
One, if that was an actual thing, we would have heard about it before now. Two, there's not a single doctor, scientist, anyone on earth that have come and been like, yeah, you could do that. That's a thing.
That works.
Yeah, we're not saying they're doing that, but you can do that. No one's even saying that. So it's just like this crazy thing. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel.
Yeah, I mean, adrenochrome does exist, but like to
now, if he were to accuse high-ranking politicians or celebrities of possibly abusing children, then I'm sure there's some out there. Because as we know, there's already like powerful religious leaders that have been caught doing that. It stands to reason that there's also politicians and other people in power that probably partake in trafficked individuals, including children. So he's not off base there. But
for the sake of
adrenochrome, Pizzagate, like all that, if you're a sane person, you need to distance yourself from those conspiracies.
Yeah. Now, disclaimer, that's not specifically what the movie's about, but
it is about generally
something
child
that is
sex
actually
trafficking,
happening and is actually a
and
huge
it's based
problem.
on a true story. Yeah. With that being said, what are your thoughts on the movie? Go through your usual rundown of the acting and
Yeah. So again, I did try to go. I have one score for this, but I do want to mention that one of the things that I took into account of this movie is that I obviously scored it based on the fact that it's a movie and for the sake of a movie, how it was structured. But I did take into account the message as well. And the message itself is, I would say, independent of my score. I want to make sure to state that, right?
Me as well. I'm rating it as a movie, not as a tool to better society.
Yeah, which, if you want my honest opinion on that, I think that the movie is a fine way to raise awareness for that. But I think that the follow-up of the campaign, without criticizing too much, is a failed effort. I don't think that. Number one, I think that the movie was custom tailored for a specific demographic to kind of enjoy, and I'll go into that here into detail in a minute. I think that it's great that the movie is raising awareness to something that is a major problem, not only in other countries, but in the United States as well, right? I think that's great. But to say that this movie is going to turn heads or change minds or stimulate action, to me, is not true at all. I think that people are going to watch this movie. I think they're going to have a feeling about it, and then I think it's going to fade out, in my opinion. But we'll go into that in a minute. So as far as a movie goes, my rating it's a 6.5 out of 10. I want to say that overall, I wasn't disappointed that I was watching the movie. I did notice it's very heavily troped. So we'll start with the story. I thought the story was pretty good, to be honest. I think and again, it is based on a true story. And I think that one of the things that they did that was really neat about the movie is that they actually provided some B-roll of, not only what happened, like you get to see, some video there, but also of like how quickly these abductions can happen. And this is like intro scene stuff, so it's not major spoilers. But the story itself was actually pretty good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was very easy to follow. I enjoyed that a lot. I thought the pacing was really good to a point. I think that it kept you captivated for a while, but about midway through, you're kind of done. You're like, all right, we're good. Some of the decisions that they made too, once the pacing kind of started to drop, I would have gone a different route with it personally. I think my route would have been a little bit heavier, but pacing overall wasn't terrible. The writing too was okay, but there were definitely some moments.
Some of the dialogue stung, yeah.
Yeah, there were definitely moments, specifically like mulligans or MacGuffins. There were a lot of MacGuffin situations, which kind of disappointed me. They definitely tried to slide some humor in there, which is, I guess, good. Considering the context of the movie overall. So the writing was okay. The characters, I don't want to call them one-dimensional, but they weren't three-dimensional. You know what I mean? They're you know what the characters are. You know what they're trying to do. Everything that the characters say. There's definitely some characters that have monologues that are well-done monologues, but it's not like you kind of already expected that from the character, if that makes sense. They're very predictable characters. If that, I don't know how else to put it. They leaned heavily on tropes, and every single one of them kind of played to their trope, in my opinion. As far as the soundtrack goes, I mean, it fit for the movie. It wasn't anything to write home about per se.
I got the impression. I interject here because I distinctly remember it. We were probably a third of the way into the movie, and I was like, I think. And I became versed in this because of this podcast when we were searching for sounds for our intro and outro. I was like, I think this is public domain music.
Like royalty free.
I don't think they hired a guy to make the score. I think they found royalty free music.
It definitely feels royalty free. There's definitely some recycled I guess you'd call them bridges. I don't know. You hear the same shit a lot. It is royalty. It does have a royalty-free vibe to it, but for the movie, I mean, it did what it needed to do. A little bit too much wailing for me. And yeah, but you know, I'm not gonna knock it for that. It was okay. I mean, the soundtrack was fine.
It was the Lion King in reverse. The wailing. Like they can't get us on copyright infringement if we play it backwards.
The Lion King, though, fuck, that's a fire soundtrack. You're digressing me, but anyway, that's what I have for that. Overall, 6.5 out of 10 for me. What do you got?
So again, I'm gonna parrot what you said. I am judging it as a movie, not as a vessel with which to get a message across. Which is what it is. Let's make no mistake. It's not trying to make a bunch of money. It's not trying to win an Oscar. It's trying to get the word out there that this is a real issue. It's happening under our noses. It gets worse every year. Check it out. So I'm rating it as a movie. And as a movie, it's got things like the possibly public domain score. It's got the cheesy dialogue. It's got the really bad tropes. And we'll get into it in the spoilers, but there's even a point where I thought if it was a good movie, it would have ended.
Yeah.
And I even think it would have been better as a
100%.
A message vessel
100%.
if it would have ended when it got there.
100%.
And we'll get into that in the spoilers. So as a movie, I'm giving it like, I don't know, maybe 5 out of 10. I'm not ever going to watch it again. Not for entertainment, not otherwise. I'm not going to sit with someone else while they watch it.
And it's not like the content was bad or rough. It's just
no, it's just not. I mean, I was never bored, but I would be if I watched it again. From the second it came on,
I couldn't sit through it again. I'd be like, bro.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've been there. No. And so it gets a 5, and just with the lack of quality around it. And again, for whatever reason, had trouble drumming up funding and getting people behind it. So half of it was funded by Angel Studios, which gonna go out on a limb and say it's
well, I guess we could
Christian
get into
organization. I
guess.
And then I think it's got some crowdfunding behind it and stuff like that.
The way that I'm obsessed with fucking A24, I kind of never want to see an Angel movie again, if I'm being honest. Like if it's got Angel's brand on it, I probably don't think I want to watch it, to be honest.
Well, so
like this shit's some like dog shit Hallmark. Not like some Hallmark videos are good. You know what I mean?
For people that also want some context and the education he puts behind this, there were 2-3 Angel Studios trailers before the movie.
Oh, we're talking about the trailers before we go to spoilers.
So you get a pretty good idea
of what Angel Studios is trying to publish and what they're proud of putting their brand on. That's fair. I shouldn't have just said that.
Yeah, I mean,
5 out of 10, huh?
The world's best artists aren't.
How'd you feel about the writing?
Studios.
Nothing to write home about?
It had decent pacing. Like you said, it followed very loosely, I'm sure, a true story about Tim Ballard, the actual federal agent who decided to go down there and help. And by go down there, it happens in Colombia.
I think they had a cameo of him, too, in the beginning. I'm almost positive that was him.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's okay. It's 5 out of 10.
All right. It's just a movie, man.
I mean, there was a few parts that made me chuckle, whereas like they're obviously trying to make you chuckle. There's a few parts where they try to make you chuckle where you don't chuckle. Like it's
there's parts where they don't want you to chuckle, and I was fucking giggling.
Yeah,
but
I felt like we had some problems.
Son of a bitch, I'm in.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll get into it in the spoilers.
So the acting, Jim Caviezel did a excellent job acting, and he's a good actor. I don't QAnon or not.
He crushed it, man. You can't.
He's an actor. He's an actor.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's a good actor
for sure. The kids,
and he's committed to being a good actor. He puts in the work.
Yeah,
it is what it is. The children,
fucking amazing,
all amazing
bro.
acting. It's
fucking amazing.
How do you teach a kid to act that well? They do good.
Yeah, they killed it.
They did well. And then one of the traffickers, like the first one they approached that said he needs help with like little John Waters pencil mustache. Good acting. Like I thought that guy was a great actor.
I was all right with the Colombian guy too.
The with the Hawaiian shirt and stuff like that.
No.
He was the most unbelievable Colombian drug lord.
The Colombian police officer. He did all right. I mean, he didn't have crazy lines or anything. I mean, he's a Colombian police officer.
Right,
So it's like,
yeah.
you get it.
So.
Yeah, bro, that guy, fuck me, dude.
Yeah,
comical.
He's part, and maybe he was for largely comic relief.
That guy's been in some shit, too.
Has he?
Yeah. I forget his fucking name, but he's been in some shit. I've seen him in a couple of movies.
What's his name? Is it Bill Camp? I think it's Bill Camp.
Is it? Let me pull that shit up.
What was his name in the movie?
In the movie? Is Sound of Freedom not got an IMDb yet?
Vampiro? Yeah, that's him. Bill Camp. See what else this guy's done.
Bro, this guy was like, he's done. I'm pretty sure he's been in some fairly...
He's from Massachusetts, and his name's Bill Camp, and he was playing a Colombian drug lord. So that's all you really need to know. Ex-Colombian drug lord.
God bless.
And he didn't even attempt a Colombian accent.
His name is Vampiro.
Yeah, which I wasn't even aware of. So I don't think his name's even.
He was in 12 Years a Slave. That's right. That's what. And he was in Joker. He was the cop, the douchebag cop.
He's in the Queen's Gambit.
Is he? I wonder what he did. He must have done something small in that. Mr. Scheibel. Oh, he was the fucking janitor. That's right.
A good role, dude.
He fucking killed it in that role, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, he killed it in that role. He was Alfonso.
Oh, he was in Molly's Game?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, I told you he's been in some shit, man, for sure.
Black Mass, Gold, Aloha, Love and Mercy, The New World.
Bro, he was in Vice. He was Gerald Ford in Vice.
He played President Gerald Ford and a Colombian
drug lord. Man's got range, bro.
Yeah, he's in Loving and Birdman and Hostiles.
I've seen him in a lot of shit. And yeah, Jason Bourne, I've seen him in
He was in one of the old Great Gatsbys.
Black Mass, really? Black Mass wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
Lincoln, he was Mr. Jolly.
Public Enemies, he was in Rounders, which is one of my favorite.
Damn, bro.
Movies
he was in a lot
cards.
of shit. That's fair, dude. He was in a lot of shit.
The Mississippi Grind. He's not in that. That's another movie with cards I like.
To be honest, though, his character was...
he was rough, yeah.
Yeah, his character was the...
However, I will give him credit. His little monologue about what turned him around from a life of crime...
He did good.
...was delivered well, and it was also well written. Yep. And it's the first clip I ever saw of this movie, and it's what got me to go see it and be interested.
Yeah.
So... kudos on him there.
Yeah, it's a moving monologue. I was really impressed by it too. I remember that. I remember thinking that, like, damn, they did really good there.
I, as a whole, would say, first of all, like was mentioned before, there's free tickets available.
Yep, free tickets.
And the reason that those are out there is because it's not here to make money. It's because he wants people to know.
Yep. That he's trying to raise awareness of this very bad situation. Situation that's been going on for a long time, apparently not getting any better.
It's got a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is interesting. It was 85 a couple days ago, so it's going down. But
man, you know what's really fucked up, dude? Webcamming has made like the whole entire sex trafficking industry like 1,000 times worse, man. It's like fucked up because now it's like people don't know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like that they're told that they're going to make all this money and do, you know, and it's even more isolated, right? How fucking hard is it to catch that? You know what I mean? It's a webcam on a VPN.
Speaking of webcamming, and telling people they're going to make a lot more money than they make. And man, we're really getting out of like movie territory here, but while I'm thinking about it, so I keep seeing like 50 to 70-year-old really conservative like parents of friends and stuff
getting on Omegle.
Keep posting like inspirational videos and like with doing like the hand clap and like the praying hands and stuff the videos are Andrew Tate.
Oh, the tater tot, dude.
And I'm
they
like,
don't fucking know, bro.
And they don't. They're completely
so
ignorant to the fact that
clueless,
they're posting videos and saying like
of a
preach
straight up sex
of a
trafficker, dude.
sex trafficker,
I know,
a world
dude, it's
class
fucked up.
sex trafficker.
It's fucked up, bro.
Because he says things like a man should be a man and watch out for women, and then they don't realize that he's like
fucking
not.
He's ahead of the
that.
fucking
Every time I see it, I keep seeing it, and every time I've gotten out of the business.
You need to just post a comment that's like a link of him being a sex trafficker.
I stay out of that stuff now, man.
That's fair.
Anymore, like I used to, because this is reoccurring with this same group of people. And I used to get in there and be like, "Hey, listen, this guy's not someone you want to be posting about. Like, you're fancy yourselves wholesome church-going folk. This man is a relentless rapist and trafficker.
Like very like.
And just because he's good at giving like advice that you find to be what your beliefs are aligned with doesn't make this not a bad person. Yeah. And I think they hear his advice and they just assume, oh, that must be a good young man.
That's a
not realizing that he's making these videos in between stints in jail.
Yeah.
And in between court proceedings in a foreign country that he went to specifically out of his own mouth to avoid the sex laws.
Yeah.
So
fucked up, man.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
Okay, back on the movie. Let's go into the trailers. So, Angel Studios, they got some cooking up, dude. They got a bunch of them. So one of them, I have no idea who this nun was. Who's this woman? This Italian nun that had to go to New York? Catalina?
I don't know, man.
Bro, I almost fell asleep in the trailer, dude. All right. But it had John Lithgow in it, which disappointed me even more in John Lithgow. Yeah. He plays like the asshole who won't let her live her best life. But they had that one.
But then he like, after some tough love, it seemed like he warmed to her.
In the trailer. Yeah. All of the, I'm going to be honest, man, all of the movies look like they were filmed by the same guy. To be honest, they're using the same.
One of them literally said from the maker of Sound of Freedom before the trailer, so they are made by the same guy.
It's like they have a camera crew of like 10 people and they just decided to bang out like 5 of these. Them out. Yeah, there was another one that I guess multiverse is kind of a thing right now. You know, you got it going on with Marvel. You got everything everywhere all at once, and so of course we needed a. No offense, but right-wing Christian multiverse one called The Shift. Dog, I've never seen a more disappointing. And it had a pretty good comedian in it. I forget what her name is. Maybe she's not a comedian. She looks like one of those comedians. You know what I'm talking about? It's called The Shift. Let me pull it up in IMDb. But yeah, the premise is like two people meet each other at a bar. You know, your strapping, typical, classy white man. And it's got Neil McDonough in it, who's, I thought he was kind of, out of acting, right? The Benefactor. I've seen him in a couple things. I don't remember what all he's been in, but he's usually a villain. Yeah. It's got Sean Astin. Oh, yeah. It's got fucking Mr. Frodo, sir.
Yeah, so the guy that plays the Benefactor, he's been in so many things. He's a big-time character
all kinds of shit. He kind of looks like Ray Liotta's like brother or something. Yeah. But anyway, the guy meets a girl, and they start hitting it off. What is her fucking name, dude? Emily Rose? No, it's Elizabeth. Elizabeth Tabish, I think is who it is. Yeah. This looks like that girl. Yeah, she kind of looks like was it Sarah Silverman? I don't fucking know what the actress's name is. Or the comedian. She kind of looks like her.
Sarah Silverman's a comedian, yeah.
Yeah, she kind of looks like her. But anyway, they meet each other at a bar. They're talking, and what if something terrible happens? You know, and then apparently he gets in a car wreck. This Benefactor fucking shifts him into an alternate reality where there's some sort of 1980. What is it? 1989? Is that
1984?
Orson Welles, 1984 type shit going on.
Did you just say Orson Welles?
Yeah, I didn't know who it was.
No.
Who the fuck was it?
1984 is
The guy who did the Time Traveler.
George Orville.
George Orville. That's what I meant.
Orson Welles did the Time Traveler.
Oh.
Not Orson Welles. H.G. Wells did the Time Traveler.
Thank you.
Orson Welles was a filmmaker who made Citizen Kane. H.G. Wells made The Time Machine and War of the Worlds.
H.G. Wells.
And then, George Orville made 1985 and Animal Farm. 1984 and Animal Farm.
Okay.
And then Ray Bradbury made Fahrenheit 451.
Fair enough. I'm sorry. Thank you. Hey, we don't get our facts straight
made
here.
A Brave New World.
We just say whatever the fuck we want.
Because I guess we're just listing dystopian novels now.
It's a dystopian future with some fucking cops that beat the shit out of everybody, and he's trying to figure out a way to go against this benefactor to get back to his girlfriend that he met.
Orson Scott Card made Ender's Game.
All right. I got it. I don't know names. Thank you.
I'm just making you don't get the O's mixed up again.
The Orsons. I fucked them up.
Don't get Orson Welles, H.G. Wells, and Orson Scott Card mixed up. Although they do probably, if you wanted to do that weird little like red string to the pictures, they probably
you could probably connect them all. Yeah, somehow. You could do some conspiracy theory shit. Anyway, dog shit. They should have named it The Shit. It looked like one of the worst fucking movies I could have imagined. Even watching, I'm looking at it again right now, and I'm just like,
stop it.
Why? Why did you do this? But hey, man, they got to get theirs in too. That's fair. And to be honest, dude, I think a lot of these movies are going to suffer from the same fucking thing. They're like wet dreams. They're like the right-wing white male's wet dream of how they would react to any of these crazy ass fantastical situations. I make the best decisions all the time. Fucking perfect. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I get out. That's the vibe I got off of these. Anyway, very disappointed in the trailers. The fact that Sean Astin in that is really breaking my heart, dude.
So it'll come down to what you like.
Take what roles you can get, I guess.
It's not like Hollywood itself doesn't infuse most of their movies with exactly what they want people to see and think and stuff like that. It's just which one's entertaining to you. And to us, Angel Studios type movies, Hallmark type movies are not what we're looking for entertainment.
My cup of drug.
Hollywood's laying down the entertainment and vibes, and we're picking up on them.
Yeah,
but there's a audience for everything.
There's a demographic,
and the people that run Angel Studios are not.
They know their demographic.
Yep,
that's for damn sure.
And that's what it's about. It's about knowing your demographic. So Wes Anderson's just like, I know that there's this.
I know the people that love me. And I'm gonna keep
hoity-toity hipster redhead in rural Oklahoma that
loves my
marking off the days on the calendar until I put off another fantastical, nonsensical, color-matching movie.
All right.
And he's going to joy puke his popcorn out in the trash can on his way out.
You mentioned this when we were there. There were a surprising amount of people here for this movie.
That doesn't surprise me because, again, Angel Studios is not going to starve too. We're in Oklahoma.
Okay. But the type of people that came to see this movie did not surprise me at all.
We were in like the very front row. So after it was over, well, there's no one in front of us. Let's put it that way. And we were third row.
We're at third row seat.
When it was over, I'm
took a gander. I'm a little people watcher.
I'm a student of culture. I like to observe and think about things. And so I was curious. I was like, it sounded pretty full. People did clap at the end. I'd heard from other people that watched it. There was clapping.
I want to state there's an inspirational message, quote unquote, at the end. And those kinds of messages, you kind of look like a dick if you don't clap. You know what I mean? It's like,
I was actually surprised you clapped. I was like,
anyway, way to go, man.
But there was a lot of enthusiastic applause.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I wasn't
really
enthusiastic.
So
I was just like, all right.
I turned around and I looked at this crowd as they filed out, and it was probably, if not 100% white,
like 98% mid 40s to 50s.
No, that was too young, man. These people were, I would say,
there were some geriatrics. There were some geriatrics. Yeah,
I would say the minimum age. We were the youngest people in there by 10 years.
Easily. That's what I was saying.
And the youngest
mid-40s.
age was like mid-40s, and then it went up to like probably 80s.
Yeah, there were some older.
I would say the average age was right around 60.
60?
Yeah.
Maybe. There was a lot of white hair.
And
that's for sure.
It's interesting.
I mean, I
was walking out, it's like the group that's least likely to have a child trafficked is the only people that came to see this movie.
Got him.
Yeah, I don't even know what to really make of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just something I observed. I really don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah,
it's just old white people were the only ones in the theater.
Like watching the movie, it's kind of custom tailored for those individuals. To be honest, if you're
I think
if you're white,
I don't think most of the people in there were in there because they're just like, I want to see a movie that tells me about child trafficking. Because I think most people are already aware that human trafficking in general is an issue. I think that most people that went to see it, especially where we live, just wanted to support Jim Caviezel
and say
because of his political views.
A good movie.
Say they saw and a movie made by a wholesome.
Did you see that Sound of Freedom movie there? My grandson took me there.
Distributor.
Wonderful,
so
man.
This is a group of people that is likely to continue to support. They're that demographic that they want to see a certain thing, and Angel Studios is going to give them that thing. And
so this
is the age group and the demographic that likes that, and that's who filled the theater. It wasn't a group of people. It wasn't. If you were to put together a giant seminar of who cares about human trafficking, that seminar is going to be far more diverse than this movie was. This movie was people going because Jim Caviezel, Angel Studios.
And I hate to say it, like this is going to sound very judgmental of me, but I think that they're also going to be like, I did my part. I watched that movie.
There's probably going to be a few
nothing
people
else
in
I
there.
need to do, man.
There's probably a few people in there. Well, it's not a whole lot else you can do. Like I was talking to you about that when you left the theater. It's like you can keep an eye out for it, and if you see it happening,
but it's like what I mean.
Call the authorities.
That's my piece about the campaign.
Not many people in that theater, even though some of them probably think they can. Not many people in that theater are gonna like run down and like,
hey,
like.
You best leave him. Yeah, they're not gonna clothesline a motherfucker scooping up a kid for sure.
They're not gonna jump on the back of the car and punch out the windshield.
Chuck a walker at it. You know what I mean? No, they're like, but I'm not saying it should be direct. Like they should be directly influencing it. But my man didn't create a fucking. He didn't like. We got a website where you can buy somebody else's ticket so they can watch this movie. Like what the fuck? You don't have anything that's going towards like the police force that is working towards figuring out how to resolve it. You know what I mean? Like nothing. There's no fundraiser for that. There's nothing. It's like
there may not be a police force that's working to resolve it.
That's what's fucked up.
It's pretty much every agency has a part in trying to take care of human trafficking when they can catch it.
Yeah, it's like
but there's no like specialized.
I don't think
maybe at the federal level. But
here's the canned message that you can send to your politician and fucking copy paste that shit.
So this movie is based on a true story, and the department that the character works for and that the guy in real life worked for is the Department of Homeland Security.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess they have a division that focuses on this, but again, it's just a division.
It's just a
there's
small
no
division.
Like department of missing persons or something like that.
But I'm just saying, right?
But think of all the dumb stuff we spend money on. Now that's got me thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff that the government does and they can only devote this much.
This
movie demonstrates it. And this is one of the things that actually happened is the guy's like, hey, give me more money. And they're like, that's not.
No, 10,000 was your budget.
Yeah, that's got nothing to do with us. Come back.
It's fucked up.
I'm sure we could make cuts somewhere to make room for
100%.
Like that.
100%.
And this movie doesn't. Other than seeing that, but like at no point are you given a plea like, hey, call your congressman and say you want
nothing.
a
there's
sex
no call to
trafficking
action
division.
except for to buy somebody else's movie ticket so they can watch the fucking movie. Yeah. That's it. And that to me was very disappointing.
So that's what I'm seeing in a lot of reviews that are negative. They're not like
the movie was dog shit.
Yeah, they're not
like,
saying
what do you want us to do now that we've watched your movie?
They're saying that the message of what to do next is handled incredibly poorly.
Dog shit.
It's like, okay, so now we saw that. What can we do about it? More people seeing it doesn't do any good. What do we physically do about it?
Yeah.
That's where all the bad reviews are coming from.
Yeah.
And reviewers aren't trashing it. Some of them are saying like, this is actually decent.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not like, you know what I mean? I wasn't hyped to go see it in the first place, but I was thoroughly surprised with a lot of elements. We'll get into spoilers, what I wasn't pleased about, but, and you and I think resonate on how that should have been done, right? Mm-hmm. Because the thing is that if you're trying to elicit a response, you can't make it a fairy tale. You know what I mean?
No, not at all.
You can't fucking make it a fairy tale.
On that note, let's get into spoilers.
Yeah, so let's go to we're going to go into spoilers now. Oh no, dude, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, man?
It's time for the spoilers!
Oh my gosh! Get out! You're going to know what happens!
Fuck out of here, we're spoiling
Spoilers, baby!
Did you want to watch it? Too bad, we're going to spoil it if you stay.
Spoiled!
Spoiler!
It has been too long since we've heard that.
I know, dude.
So like I said earlier, there is a point where you could have cut that movie off. It not only made it a better film, more complete from an actual film standpoint, you could have made
a much more impactful
stronger
message.
and impactful message. So to preface this, the movie doesn't try to rescue a ton of children. There is a point where a group gets saved, but it focuses on two children in particular.
Let's start it off. The group the true story that it's based on
was about rescuing
a group of kids getting rescued, and this guy Tim
Ballard,
Tim Ballard, and another unspoken hero who in the movie is portrayed that he was ex-cartel or something. What was he? Vampiro?
Yeah, he was the money launderer for the Medellin cartel.
Yeah, so I'm assuming there's a guy that was like that Tim knew that also corroborated with him to basically get a bunch of these like sex traffickers that are I would say probably ground zero for the kids that are getting abducted, get them on this island, and then have the Colombian police task force like come in and scoop these motherfuckers up, right? And so that happened, and it's really cool because that's some of the B-roll that you get to see, right? But obviously, with it being a movie, like you said, it's focused on two specific children to really try to drive the point home, right?
Yeah. And it also makes you familiarize yourself with and see the anguish of the father.
Yep. It's much more personal.
Yeah, and you see how happy he is to get one of his children back, his son.
And he's a good dad.
And he is.
Right?
He just made kind of a bad decision. You don't, until you know these things are happening, you don't really watch out for them. But he gets his son back, and he's happy, but he's still not complete. And Tim Ballard's character, and this part is fictional, so you could have done whatever you wanted with this. Goes, you know what? I hate the way how sad he looks.
I'm gonna get
this
and
daughter
it's not just the dad;
what.
It's the boy. The boy gives him the necklace and says, "You're gonna help me find my sister, right?" And it's like, "Fuck, dude!" And this
so
boy's
he's like, I gotta find this girl.
Yeah, I will say it's very tasteful how they portrayed the sexual abuse. There was never any. I mean, aside some brief cinematography of him, like, you know, obviously these one of the jobs of these like agents is to actually watch the footage and obviously recount it in detailed format. And it's got a scene of him like, you know, fucking crying, and you see a little bit of a reflection of something bad happening, but very tasteful in that sense.
Well, and you knew it would be because like these people, no matter what you think of them, they are against this, right?
Yeah, of
and
course.
they want to protect children.
Yeah.
And even if you're having a child act out something like this, it's
grisly,
going
man.
to possibly have a detrimental effect on them.
It's grisly.
And so they don't even want them to like pretend that they're being assaulted.
But they weren't shy about it. I mean, it definitely elicits a feeling of like, you know, this disgust and frustration towards it, and so they did that very tastefully. But you know, the problems I had are those wet dream fantasies is what I like to call them, where he's like, I'm gonna convince this pedophile by pretending to be one of him, and then he like goes through this whole little spiel with him and takes him out to dinner, and the guy hooks him up with Teddy Bear, which is gonna be the kid. Like all of that. It's fucking, it annoyed the shit out of me that it's like, bro, like, I don't know what you think you're doing here, you know? Like, haha, I outsmarted a pedophile. never trust a pedophile. And everyone in the theater was like, it's like, okay. I don't know. I just, to me, it's like, bro, that's not how they get the data. That's not how they get the information. Scrub his fucking hard drive, find a contact, go about that route. Why do you have to play out this fucking wet dream fantasy where you take this obvious fucking dude, pull him out of this prison and, you know, manipulate him into believing you're one of, you know what I mean?
So
it's
you're
just
honestly,
so convoluted.
so there's that, but you're lucky because this is what most people, I think, would really want to do. You're lucky he didn't just like beat the information out of them. That would have been. That
I would have been okay with that.
That would have been like
Prisoners.
even more.
You remember Prisoners?
Yeah, I can't stand that movie. That's my least favorite.
Yeah,
Denis Villeneuve.
When Hugh Jackman puts him in the bathtub and fucking fucks his ass up for the love of his kid, I would have been okay with that. You know what I mean? To be honest.
So we're getting kind of off topic. So he gets the little boy. And then the group of children that's rescued is hoping that the daughter is amongst them.
Yeah,
and
that's the whole spiel.
And
right?
then the daughter isn't. And so it goes back to the father looking at an empty bed with a drum that he's bought for the daughter on it.
She's big singer, drummer type.
Right.
Yeah, very talented.
You end it there on that horribly sad note. Empty bed, the daughter's not coming back because most of these kids do not come back.
Yep. And what's crazy, the father has such a good line too, because he says when he gets the son, right? He's like, "We got your son," and he's like, "If he said you're a family man, right? May I?" And he looks at the photos and he goes, "If one of your child's beds were empty,
how would you feel?
How would you feel?" Right? And it's like, fuck, dude. And
your best way to play to people's emotions is to
leave them fucking feeling guilty.
Yep.
And powerless to something that should not exist.
Instead, you get an extra 30 minutes.
30 minutes? It was like 50, I think.
Well, it
felt like 50.
You get an extra massive chunk of movie where it's just some Rambo bullshit to get this daughter back.
Yeah.
And then you just get people get to say rah rah at the end of the movie. No. If you want this message across that this is
that girl doesn't come home, dude.
Heart-wrenching situation that needs to be fixed, you leave that bed empty and you send people home thinking like, what if that was my kid that never came back? Not, oh, some SWAT team's going to go get my kid. I'll be all right. There's heroes. Heroes will make this all better. Heroes aren't making this better.
No.
2 million kids disappear a year.
Yeah.
That no one found. There's more empty beds than there are kids delivered back home. Yeah. Why are you making this have such a happy ending?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a crowd pleaser. If you're wanting to get a message across, get the message across that this is dark, sad, horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I was very disappointed in that. And then his fucking Vampiro, dude.
Oh, Vampiro.
Bro, this guy had an answer for fucking everything all the time, and he wouldn't stop fucking smoking cigars. It was like...
I've never seen a movie. I told you this while we were in the theater. No movie has ever made me want a cigar worse. By the time it's over, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going somewhere to help traffic children. I'm going to the cigar shop.
He's like... They're like, oh, no, here's this situation, and we don't know what to do. Well, guess what I got, brother?
Yeah.
It's gonna be biblical.
Yeah. My favorite one
Fucking
of the
you
whole
son of a
movie was when the Colombian guard was like, the Scorpion has her. They're south of this river. No one goes south of this river. It's owned by the rebels. And then everyone gives up. Everyone's like, even Jim Caviezel's like, oh, no one goes south of the river. It's over. Okay, I guess it's it. And he even like starts kind of turning towards the door. And then old Vampiro's just like, doctors go down there sometimes. Wonder if there's an epidemic in those mountains right now.
And then Jim Caviezel looks over at him like, you son of a bitch, you did it again.
Yeah, just this,
and they fucking
smirk.
Come out with their little doctor fucking badges.
Yeah, they do like a montage of them getting some training from some doctors.
On how to say subdural hematoma.
Yeah.
And then fucking... Oh, my favorite. And this is where I think it was like that COVID bullshit, right? There's that whole conspiracy about the COVID vaccine being GPS trackers. They just added in this little thing where the Colombian task force, the head of the Colombian task force is like, I have 2 GPSs for you. And he gives them some syringes. He goes, you can keep them in your wallet or you can inject yourself.
And then they both put it in their wallet.
And it's like, okay, dude.
But then they never mention that.
They
again.
never. Yeah, it's used. It's used very briefly to showcase when he's coming back down the river, and maybe briefly when he gets taken alone by the river. Hey, you guys are splitting up. What's happening?
He's on his own.
He's on his own. Oh, he didn't have a cigar in that scene.
They
That's
wouldn't.
right.
They wouldn't let me go with him.
So yeah, but yeah, he finds the girl. Fucking has a fight scene. I guess you could call it a fight scene. With the scorpion, and he ends up stinging the scorpion, obviously getting the girl out. He doesn't even like heroically die or anything. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's just, it's already, it just became more and more far-fetched to a point where it detracted.
Rambo.
Yeah, it detracted from the overall message, right? And that to me was very disappointing. I'm trying my best not to fucking put that into the rating of the movie.
Yeah.
But even if there wasn't a message involved in the movie, that whole part of the movie was just fucking disjointed. It wasn't, I don't know. It had no level of cohesion to the rest of like what was going on. I think it should have ended at the raid, dude. And I think it should have then switched over to like, yo, imagine your kid not coming home.
Yeah, the girl.
Imagine your
sad
kids
credits
has the empty bed with the fucking empty drum on it. You know, I don't know. I was really disappointed in that.
I still think it's so funny. Bill Camp from Massachusetts was the Colombian money launderer from Medellin. And also, like, it's every time he calls him Timoteo.
I
guess what?
I would say if I was to fight drug trafficking, I would try to do the same thing though. I would buy kids to fucking get them out. You know what I mean? Like that, because that's the only thing I could think of possibly doing to be able to. I mean, like, yeah, catching the pedophiles helps, right? But it's like, it's fucked, man. There's always going to be a market for that. Like, how do you fucking stop that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, some of those kids, you're pretty much your only option is to buy them to get them out of there, because otherwise, where are they going to get sent next?
Yeah, it's like, it's fucked. It's like, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a really pessimistic way to look at it, but it's like mowing your yard. Like, cut the grass, but it grows back. Like, it's a never-ending fight.
Yeah.
There's really no way to snuff it out except to snuff the demand out. And what are you going to do? Change the fact that people are deranged?
I think it's important to know.
Been trying to do that for 2,000 years.
So here's the battle, right? And this is again, I can't say this would fix it. I can't say that this would solve it. But I think that if we had a way, and again, this is going to be a hot take for a lot of people, so fucking buckle up. If we had a way to legalize sex work, I think it would alleviate a shit ton of that. I genuinely do, right? If we started working towards legalizing sex work, I genuinely believe that it would it's not going to solve the problem, but it would alleviate it considerably, right? Because here's the thing. A lot of those individuals, if they don't have to take an illegal avenue, they're going to take a legal route, right? In my opinion, again. But
depending on how well you regulate that, you're still going to have somebody taking it.
What's going to happen? It still happens in fucking Amsterdam. It still happens everywhere else that it's legal, for sure.
You still have like the
you know what I mean?
abusive pimp type individuals.
But the level.
The only difference is they're not going to jail.
I would be interested. I can't say this with confidence, but I would be interested to look at like statistics as far as like locations that have legalized sex work and how it's affected the overall.
Well, so
it's just a difficult demographic to track.
That's
you
not.
know what I mean?
That's not going to help. That would put a dent in trafficking, right? But like we talked about this when the movie was over.
Trafficking.
When I said like 4 or 5-year-old kid, like who in the world is attracted to that?
Yeah,
and it's not the same person that's attracted to your friendly neighborhood hooker. It's someone that literally is attracted to just that. You said it well, innocence.
Yep.
That they want to steal, and they're into that, and that's what they're about. If you made prostitution legal, these people are still going to be like, that's not what I want.
Yeah, it's a spectrum, though. I think it's a spectrum, and I think there would be some people that are like, oh, here's like a 18-year-old with pigtails. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like there,
you
it's a
might shave
spectrum.
a little bit of the.
You might-
I mean, it
skim
might
a little bit
narrow
off the top.
down.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's gonna solve it by any means. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that like, it's a fucked situation all around, right?
And the scary thing is, it's getting worse.
It is
5,000% in like 10 years or something like
well.
that.
This is like the gift and the curse of the age of communication, right? Is that when you do, it used to be when you would have some sort of depravity that went against society, you either adapted or you got kicked out of the group. Now, with the age of communication, you can find these social circles and create these fucking feedback loops of validation that it's not you guys that are wrong. It's the rest of society that needs to adjust to you guys.
This is getting
It's
really
fucked,
down in
man.
the weeds, but the age of communication is called a gift and a curse. I think it's far more a curse than
curse?
a gift.
Really?
Far more a curse.
I think
'Cause
I
you
don't
have
think it's run its
everything.
course yet.
You have people that are less socially adept because of it. You have people that are emboldened to do things that you shouldn't do because of it.
But the amount of research, the amount of collaboration, the amount of things that we've done that have benefited the world, the amount of visibility that has been put on these things, all of these are really good.
I'm not.
I think it needs to run its course.
I'm saying it hurts more than it helps. And you've got like cyberbullying and people killing themselves because someone online told them they're fat, stupid. Like, I don't know,
and then
man.
just the things that you do now, because it's recorded for eternity. You can't get past it, bro.
Yeah,
I played tag. I played tag when I was like 7 years old, and I had to take a shit, and I didn't want to go to the bathroom and take a shit, so I took a shit while I was playing tag. I shook it out my pant leg, fucking crumpled out, and everybody was like, "Ah, gross!" Imagine if that was online. They'd be fucking running that shit on me today. You know what I mean?
You'd probably be rich. You'd be on Tosh.0.
If I was able to survive the ridicule, dude. But imagine 10,000 people fucking ostracizing you and treating you differently because of a mistake that you made.
Imagine
you know what
being
I mean?
on Tosh.0 and having to do it as an adult. He's like, I need you to redo that. You'd
Right
be like,
now?
no problem.
Let's play tag. Yeah, of course. I'm a different kind of person, though. I'm not saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
It's
I know.
like so I get that, but at the end of the day, I don't think that it's run its course yet. And where I'm optimistic about the fact that there's so much exposure to all of these negative things, and there's so many things that we didn't, plan or prepare for, that we now have the ability to pivot. We now have the ability to, again, treat it. It's just like, I don't want to say it's just like, it's very similar to alcohol in the 30s, right? When there was this point where it got so out of control that they decided that they needed to fucking completely ban it, right? And that didn't fix anything, So it's like that's where we're at with the age of communication has led to this feeling of entitlement, ease of access, and communication has led to this like feeling of entitlement. With everything at your fingertips, you should have everything whenever you want it.
Yeah.
But I also believe that it has genuinely it has opened up so many avenues for success, for monetization, right?
Yeah.
For being able to be passionate, right? So it's like, I just don't think it's run its course.
I think
it's both.
And this probably depends on what you're doing, but I think in a lot of situations, innovation is much more efficient in person than over
Remote?
the communication channels. Yeah. I think there's certain functions, and I take this from my own work. I think there's certain functions that it doesn't matter if they're there or home. Doesn't matter. Be just as good at home as there. If you've got like a group of people designing something tangible, they need to be in the same room. And I've seen it. I've watched it happen remotely, just not work as well. Because humans don't just communicate with words.
Yeah.
They communicate with body language. They communicate
Actions.
with
For sure.
actions and things like that. So there's, and I'm starting to be disturbed by how many companies are caving and being like, all right, all you stay home. But
really,
that's it depends on what you're doing. I don't think the atomic bomb would have been invented if instead of all collected at Los Alamos, I'm using this because Oppenheimer's coming up. Instead of everybody collecting at Los Alamos, they were all on their computers across the country. That bomb doesn't get made. And if it does, it doesn't get made as well, or it doesn't get made as quickly. something like that. But then there's scores of other things that send them home, like what you do. You don't need to be in person for that.
I will say, I will say that there's parts of my job that actually are
like when
really
you were in the
good
field for Ring Central, obviously, and not only that, but
even
the customer like really appreciates seeing.
Well, and the other thing is it also kind of puts an obligation on the client, right? Oh, well, this guy's here, right? If this guy's here, we might as well, while we got him, we might as well look at this, right? Versus a Zoom meeting where you can go, I'm not going to join that, right? So I'm not, again, I'm not advocating against remote work or anything like that, right? But
no, it's got its place.
I just want to say that, like, I think that if we can get to a point where I'm more even not so much focused on like workforce type shit, but like we live in excess. You know what I mean? Most of us, at least in the United States, live in excess, right? To a point where it's like if we allowed ourselves to be inconvenienced minorly and let that inconvenience be placed somewhere else where they're not living in excess. They're living in, what's opposite of excess? Like fucking famine? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Poverty?
well,
Yeah, poverty. That's fair.
Or squalor.
Squalor. There we go. Take some of your inconvenience to raise the quality of life for those living in squalor just a little bit, dude. That's when you're going to start getting these more innovative ideas. These individuals, when their brain power is freed up from having to figure out how to survive day to day, it can then be used for something else. That's going to benefit humanity as a whole, right? But where communication sits, dude, it's a gift and a curse, man. How do you stop fucking social circles that create these toxic feedback loops for each other? You don't. You know what I mean? It's impossible.
Not anymore.
It's impossible.
Cat's out of the bag.
But
only way is forward at this point.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, I don't know. I'm still optimistic about the future. And as far as this movie's concerned, I don't think it's doing anything. I mean, his speech at the end is that storytellers are what make things happen, and that the actual storytellers of the movie, it's not him, it's not Tim, it's the kids. Fair point, but the movie was definitely not framed from the perspective of the kids. There were really good scenes that had you experience what the kids probably experience on a regular basis, but the majority of the movie was a fucking crusade, and he really drove that crusade home by creating the second half of the movie where he gets the girl at the end, you know, saves the girl. Timoteo ended up being the boss of the fucking, and I was disappointed in that, man. He should have left it heavy. He should have left it dark.
I don't know why little like dumb parts stick out to me, like when he's telling the kid, "My name's Timoteo."
And
the kid's like, "Timoteo?" What? And he's like, "Oh, what is that? Not how you say Tim in Spanish?" And it's like, don't second guess yourself, buddy. You got it.
All right,
man.
You've
been doing this a while.
He's gonna give you a necklace that has your name on it.
You've been working for the feds on the Mexican border for 30 years. You're letting this kid question whether Timoteo's the...
I will say their Spanish was really good. Even the white guys.
Yeah. I mean, when you do that job, you probably pick it up.
Queso. De la Puerto.
No.
Mucho queso.
No queso. No queso, James.
Queso. Just come on. There's no mucho. Dango, man. Tell you right now, brother. Hell yeah, man. I went and saw that movie, man. I'm fucking saving the world out here, man. I spent 3 hours in that movie theater, man. Changed the world. Changed the world, I did. I tell you right now. I didn't buy nobody no tickets, though, but that's okay, man. I saw it. I did my part, you know? I did my part more than them motherfuckers did anything. You know what I mean? I'm getting self-righteous. I need to dial it back. Be curious, not judgmental. At the end of the day, 6.5 out of 10. He took the wrong ending. You can watch the movie for free.
We're gonna wrap this up with this last question.
Okay, here we go.
Aimed at you.
Oh, why me? Go. Hit me.
I don't even know if this is going to come out on Blu-ray and DVD. Does this need to be or streaming? Does this need to be seen in theaters?
Oh, I forgot about that. Fuck. I mean, it's free.
It didn't
Get a
have
fucking
horrible
free ticket.
cinematography.
No. The cinematography was. I mean, there were parts that I enjoyed. I liked the tear when he was watching the shit. The kids.
It starts going in the window. It starts going out the window.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I
That's
could
cliche, but
take it or leave it. You know, the kids in the fucking container. That was very claustrophobic. That was well done. When they opened it and it smelled like shit, that was well done. I forgot about that, and I was like, okay, that's fair. It probably would smell pretty bad. The kid screaming and it zooming out from the big ass fucking barge. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't think the movie theater added anything to it. I mean, he definitely did in his fucking speech. He said that, but it's free.
Angel Studios got a hold of drones, if not a helicopter.
It's free. Go watch it in theaters if you're going to watch it.
Yeah. I'd say go watch it.
I'd say if it's free, go watch it. If you can get a free ticket, watch it. If you got AMC stubs, go watch it.
I'd say just go watch it. Just
pay to watch it.
If anything, you got to be a part of
it.
Do your part.
Do your part. Save the kids by watching this fucking movie.
You're not going to save a kid by watching this movie. No one's saying that. But go watch it. Yeah. Unless, I would say the only people, don't go watch it if you are really familiar with what's going on in the world of human trafficking and child trafficking.
Yeah.
Which I think most informed people know how bad it is. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know hardly any moms in our circles of friends and acquaintances that aren't very
much aware of,
very careful and attentive to where their children are at all times, especially when out and about in public.
Yeah.
You see parents all the time, like, yelling at your kids, like, stay with me, like, stay close, blah, 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 and no matter where you are. So people obviously know. They know this is an issue. And if all this movie's going to do is spread awareness and everybody's already aware, what's it doing?
Not a whole lot.
But if there's people that aren't aware, or if you're worried about it.
You know, I like respect to the dude for trying, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, I don't want to shit on him for that.
No.
Like,
no, good for him.
Like, yeah, dude, I'm glad that you're trying to raise awareness, but you know, there's a fine line between, like, raising awareness and exploitation. I don't think he hit the line of exploitation, but it definitely raises your eyebrows a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like there's more, like, what message are you sending that's not already been heard? You know? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not trying to get that crazy with it. I'm not trying to get that into the weeds with it. I'm just saying that, like,
so next week,
the campaign could have been better. Coming up next week.
Hopefully next week.
Hopefully.
We're gonna do our we're gonna do our best.
Yeah, we gotta do some gymnastics. That's fair. Morning. Fuck.
I don't know what movie we're gonna do. That's gonna be a surprise.
Ooh. Spider-Verse.
It could be that. It could be Indiana Jones. It could be
Indiana Jones comes out then?
It's already out.
Who's in it again? Who's the new It's Harrison Ford again.
Yeah, and his goddaughter is Phoebe
Waller-Bridge. She did. She's doing Tomb Raider. They're doing a Tomb Raider Amazon series, and it's being written by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh, she's writing it. I was like, I don't want to see her ass Tomb Raider.
It's based off of the new video game. I'm actually kind of excited for that.
That's cool.
Because, again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge did Killing Eve, the first half, right?
Fleabag,
which I haven't seen yet. I need to watch.
Polisher for James Bond Spectre.
Spectre, that's right. I like Spectre. A lot of people didn't like Spectre.
I don't like how it ended.
That's fair.
What blasphemy.
That's fair. I rewatched him not that long ago.
It's not like we're trying to make a movie about the plight of spies. You can make Bond end happy. Come on.
Okay. Pump the brakes. It's still good.
Anyway, no, I liked it up till that point. Okay. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I give Spectre like a 7.5.
Yep. But yeah, she's doing a Tomb Raider. And I think she had a part in. Was she just an actress in Indiana Jones, or did she have a part in writing it too?
I'm not sure. However, something that I'm supremely disappointed about is they were making a remake of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
What?
She was going to be Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
And was going to be writing it.
Okay.
And Donald Glover was Mr. Smith.
That would have been wild.
And Donald
bro.
Glover's also an adept writer. I don't know how much.
Is he really? What's he written?
Atlanta, dude. He helps write Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
That's his
bro,
baby.
Fucking
And-
curveball, dude.
And so they're
Bro,
both
how old is he
they're
right
both
now?
very accomplished creators, right?
yeah.
And so they had the old creative differences, and she left.
Damn, that sucks.
I know. If they
dude.
could have gone on the same page, I would have been fire.
Bro, that would have been so good. God damn.
Because Atlanta, I was late to the Atlanta party. It came out
I'm a
of left
little
field
gassy,
and
just a
slapped
heads up.
me across the face. I was like, this is the best.
I've watched like the episode that you showed me.
Yeah, the one, Bippy,
Yeah.
the barber.
Barber.
Damn it, Bippy,
Bippy.
man.
Man.
It's like,
just
come
come
on,
out
I'll
with me
get you
to
some
the spot, man. We just
Zaxby's.
gonna go get some-
It's like the
go get
Zaxby's
some
the
wood, man.
construction workers left behind.
All right.
He's like, you serious with me right now, Bippy?
Yeah. So anyway,
Love it,
excited.
Layla.
Excited. Maybe Indiana Jones it is then. I'll watch Spider-Man on my own. You're
Well,
not. You're
it
not
could-
into animated shit anymore.
It could be either. It could be either of them, man.
Little column A, little column B. What you
see.
doing?
We'll figure it out. We'll
Oh
figure it
shit!
out.
I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna watch them both while I'm gone. I'm gonna be in Florida. I'm gonna see if there's an AMC nearby, and I'm just gonna go watch them
You're leaving Monday,
Monday.
and you're coming back.
I will have been back by the time this episode airs, but I'll be back like Thursday evening, like
Okay.
late, like 2 a.m.
That's no.
Friday's
that's-
the only day.
How do you? I didn't even know flights got back to OKC that late.
Only if they're coming from the East Coast, baby.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: everything's closed in Will Rogers World Airport after like 9. Yeah. Not that you want to buy a
I don't wanna eat shit.
$75 hamburger at
Will Rogers.
the airport. Yeah. We'll have more Ask a Bear Rug. I think we actually have more questions in there now. We have
Yeah, we got a
little
couple.
inside track on knowing that.
Cooking.
And then another film review, and then
Monday, we'll
maybe
just fucking-
Russian sodas. We'll see. I don't want to make too many
Okay,
promises because
okay,
there's some
okay.
moving parts, and maybe a guest on one of the 3 episodes.
Maybe. Ooh. It would be Monday.
Yeah.
'Cause technically they're filmed on the same day. So if there's a guest, it'll be on Monday.
Yep.
You know?
I know.
All right. That's what we got. Well, all good things must come to an end, and unfortunately, that includes this episode. As always, remember,
Don't be a bear rug. Don't do it. Nothing good can come from it. But seriously, we really appreciate you listening, and we hope you tune in next time.